What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 6 of Cool Chords. This week we have an amazing progression from a Lewis Cole song entitled Every Time. Hope you enjoy. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this might be my favorite progression of all time. I think it's just such a perfect voice leading with the slash chords, the interesting use of colors within the chords, and then that really pretty melody note that's descending on the top notes of each chord. Just an incredible progression and an incredible song too. I mean, such a beautiful but like haunting at the same time kind of song, which is two of my favorite effects to get from music. So I just, love this progression. And as you saw, obviously, in the demonstration, I split it up into two parts because a couple of the chords are just really complicated to get with one guitar. It is possible to do it with one guitar, and I'll show you after. I'll do just the arpeggiated part first without the bass notes, but then if you are interested afterwards, I'll also do the full chord part with the bass notes as well, but it's pretty complicated. I'm gonna have a hard time getting through it, but I'll show it to you in case if you want to try it. So we're in the key of D flat major, and we're starting out with a D flat add 9 chord, which just means it's major, just a major triad with the 9 added. So we put our ring finger on F, pointer finger on A flat, and pinky on E flat, and you strum all 3 notes, and then you pick through the F and the A flat, so we have, and then my middle finger goes to the D flat, moves down to D flat on the 2nd string. So I want those first 2 notes ringing the whole time. And then I take my middle finger off and I just bar my pointer finger, so I get the C note now, so that makes it a D flat major 7 chord. And then pick the F, pick the A flat, and my pinky goes to A flat on the 1st string, just an octave. So the first chord pattern. All right, and that's our 1 chord, obviously, if we're in D flat major. Then we go, then this is a really pretty chord. We put our pointer finger on D flat, ring finger jumps up to G flat on the 4th string, and then the pinky is gonna be on A flat on the 1st string. In this pattern, you go. Okay, so, and this is with a B flat in the bass. So I would consider this like a B flat, G flat, major, add 9 with the 3rd in the bass, with the B flat in the bass. So, and then after that, you just slide this D flat down to C with your pointer finger, and then just put your middle finger, go from the G flat to the F, and I keep the pinky on the A flat. And that chord right there is over A flat. So it's like an F minor over A flat. So that would be the 3 chord if we're in D flat major. So far we have the 1 chord. Right, and then we do I would do it up here, I guess. And we'll get into this part later, but then that would be the 4 chord, right? The G flat over B flat. It's our 4 chord to our 3 chord. So 1, 4, 3, Roman numeral wise. Now this part is really cool. So put your ring finger on B flat on the 3rd string, then your pointer finger goes up to E flat, or down technically, and then pinky on A flat on the 1st string. And then pinky is going to stay down, your pointer finger is going to go to A flat on the 3rd string, and your ring finger is going to reach up to D flat on the 5th string. Same pattern, so. The bass note for that one is G flat. So I called this first chord G flat 6, 9 because if you look at it against G flat, you have the root, 6, 3rd, right? So we know it's major, and then the 9 on top. If you take away this top note and just look at this, it's like an E flat minor 1st inversion as well. So you could technically, I guess, call it E flat minor, add 11 over G flat, but that seemed like a lot to write down, so I just thought G flat 6-9 was easier. So, and then this part is also over G flat. I would just call that G flat, add 9. You know, there's no third, so maybe G flat 2. I don't know. I don't know all the very like specific things when it comes into chords like that. So if you would say call it something different, just let me know in the comments. And then this is like the part to me that makes the progression go from like beautiful to like haunting for a second. This E major 7 sharp 5, really colorful, really catches your ear when you hear it in the song. So that one, open E, and my pinky goes on E as well on the 7th fret, ring finger on G sharp, middle finger on C, pointer finger on D sharp, and I strum all 5 of those strings. And then I do the 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string. Sorry. And then, so right there, if we're in the key of D flat major, I guess I would call this the flat 3, major 7 sharp 5. Or you can think of it as like C sharp minor major 9, but there's like no root kind of, I don't know. So he could just be thinking of the key, but he's switching it to like melodic minor. Go like this. Then you put your ring finger on C sharp, middle finger is going to be on G sharp, and pointer finger bars across D sharp and G sharp. So now I pick the, oh, I'm sorry. That's if I'm doing the bass note. I go. Yeah, and then I do the C sharp, G sharp, and then I jump up to the 2nd string and the 1st string. So far we have this. Now I really love the upper notes of each of these chords. It creates a really pretty descending melody that just wraps up the rest of the progression perfectly. So start like this, put your pinky on C on the 1st string, then your middle finger goes to D flat on your 3rd string, and your pointer finger is on E flat on the 2nd string. So that's the pattern. All right, and the bass note for that is F. So I called that D flat major 9 over F because, right, you have a D flat and F, D flat, E flat, F, and C. So root, 2nd, 3rd, 7. So you call that D flat major 9 over F if you want. So that pattern. Then you keep the bottom 2 notes. Your ring finger goes to B flat, and then at the last minute you change the upper note to A flat by taking off your ring finger and barring your pointer finger across. So that's okay. And then this is really pretty. G flat major, just middle finger on G flat, ring finger on B flat, and pointer finger on D flat. You go, and then just take your middle finger off and bar your pointer finger. Do the same pattern. Okay, so that's. Like descending melody. So pretty. And this last chord, this is the chord when we get into doing it with the bass notes. This is the one chord that kind of makes it really hard to do with just one guitar. But for just the arpeggiated part, I move down here. I put my middle finger on D flat on the 2nd string, then my pinky jumps up to G flat on the 4th string, and then pointer finger on A flat on the 3rd string. And I go. So this is the only pattern that has a pause. It starts on the and of 1. I'm sorry. No, it goes 1, 2, 3, and it has a rest on beat 3. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and the bass note for that is E flat, so you can call that E flat minor 7, add 11, or add 4, whatever you prefer to call it. And then we get our 5 chord. So now we're just doing the little resolution to go back to, not resolution, suspension of the 5 chord to get back to the 1 chord. So this is A flat 7 sus. So the way I do this one, I would put my pointer finger on the 4th fret barred across. Then I put my pinky on D flat on the 3rd string, and I go. You start like this. You pick, or I'm sorry. I keep forgetting I'm not doing it with the bass notes right now. Yeah, I'll do it like that. Yeah. So, yeah, barring it with the pinky on D flat. So you hit the 3rd and 2nd string. And then you pick the 4th string, 3rd string, 1st string. And then ring finger goes to C. So this is you're going from the sus to the regular dominant. Ring finger on C, pointer finger on G flat, and middle finger on E flat. So ends with, you know, going from, if that's E flat minor, that's the 2 chord, and then right here is the 5. So it just ends with a 2, 5, 1, and then you're back to the top. So the whole progression with just the arpeggios is. Okay, so such an incredible progression. I really love this so much. And so here now, if we're doing it with the bass notes, this is pretty complicated. It's kind of a pain. But with the first chord, we put our ring finger on D flat, middle finger on F, pointer finger on A flat, pinky on E flat, and I'll just strum all 4 of those. Then my pointer finger has to jump from the A flat to the D flat on the 2nd string. Then down a fret, and then now I'm doing this part up in a different position. I found that the voicings were easier here. So I'm doing my ring finger on B flat, pointer finger on G flat, pinky on D flat, and I'm barring my 1st finger. And then the pattern, I do my pick on the 6th string, and then I'll pluck the 3rd string. Yeah, my middle finger, I guess. Then I pick the 4th string, 3rd string, 1st string. Then I go to the next chord with the same pattern. And that chord is 4th finger on A flat. I'm sorry, 4th fret, middle finger on A flat. Pointer finger jumps up to F, pinky on C, and ring finger on A flat on the 1st string. All right, this part's pretty tricky. Middle finger on, this is the G flat 6/9, middle finger on G flat, pointer finger on E flat, ring finger on B flat, and pinky up on A flat. Same right hand pattern from the previous 2 chords. Now this one you have to get your thumb on the G flat, and then your ring finger goes up to the D flat, and your pointer finger is on the A flat. Pinky stays the same. So that's a little tricky. I would just practice going between that. Our E major 7 sharp 5, same pattern, just include the open E. And right here, when we do the C sharp, you pluck it, and then you do the open E with your pick. Then pick on the 4th string, and 2nd string, 1st string. All right, this part is a little bit of a pain as well. So now this voicing, put your ring finger on F, skip a string, middle finger on D flat, pointer finger on E flat, and pinky on C. So pick the 5th string and pluck the 1st string, and pick 3rd string, 2nd string, 1st string. This chord is also a pain. I'm sorry. Pointer finger on F, ring finger on D flat, middle finger on E flat, pinky on E flat, and then you pick the 4th string, pluck the 1st string, and then 3rd string, 2nd string, and then 1st string. You gotta move it up to the A flat. Okay, and then G flat, this one is that, but we include the pinky on the G flat now. Do the bottoms, the 4th string with your pick, middle finger on the 2nd string. And then just go right up the pattern. Then same pattern, but just take your middle finger off, bar your pointer to get the major 7. Alright, I actually gotta tilt the guitar here now because this chord is too much of a stretch. So this is the one that kind of makes it not worth doing it on one guitar. Put your pinky all the way up here on E flat on the 1st string. your ring finger reaches down 2 frets to G flat, then your pointer finger is on the 6th fret barred on the 4th and 3rd string. So it starts with the pick on the 6th string and the ring finger on the 3rd together, and then just go through the chord, and then just go down the 4 notes of the chord. Alright, and then the last one, bar the pointer finger across, and then you pick the 6th string, and then your middle finger and ring finger go on the 2nd and 3rd string. I'm sorry. Yep, so then pick on the 4th string, 3rd string, 1st string. And then it's so funny. It ends on like just a traditional A flat 7 chord. After all these crazy voicings, we end up here, which is just funny. So then we put our pointer, but it sounds so good regardless. You know, it's just a nice clear resolution back to the top. So pick on the 6th string, pinky on the C, and then with our middle finger on the 2nd or 3rd string, and then 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to do the whole thing. I'm probably going to screw something up, but this is the best I could do. So if you want to try it with one guitar, you can. The video I made, I just did a separate guitar doing the bass notes just because it was easier. And I was really interested in just the sound of the arpeggios regardless of the bass notes. But you can try them together if you want. But that's the video for this week. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you guys at the next video.